I am in Chirk at the moment, but I'm just going to drive down into Shropshire and take in the sights. I usually don't take this road, so I thought that I would shoot this video and you'd get to join me on the journey. It's a slightly frosty day. It's January 2023. And I just go slowly along this road into the middle of Chirk, which is in North Wales. The church is on my right. I think this is St Mary's. If you ever want to see some really good statues and architecture, go into St Mary's and you'll find it interesting. I don't know if they proclaim gospel truth, but there's certainly a good arts gallery. Now down the road here, and we follow this road all the way down. At the bottom of this road we'll see canals if we are lucky. You can see on the pavement it's rather frosty, and I'm taking this road going downwards because the alternative road might be slippy going upwards and I don't want to risk it. The car might slide all over the place. So I'm going downwards on a road that I consider to be safer. And we're just almost at the border. And you can see down at the bottom of this hill is the pub. And the pub here is the Bridge Inn, hence the bridge, you see. The last pub in Shropshire. And we continue along this road, and soon we will be by the canals. Not as frosty as it has been for the past 2 days, but still frosty enough, so I'm being careful with the roads. Pass by the houses. And soon the garden centre will be on our left, and the canals on the right. Now, passing my canal now, it's on the right. I don't know if you can see it, but just over that fence is the canal. Passing by the pub, the Poacher's Inn. Oh, it used to be the Poacher's Inn. It's still the Poacher's, yes. And on the left, when we pass by these houses, is the garden centre. There it is, that green notice there, it's the garden centre. Dobies. And we come to the roundabout, and I'm taking the last exit. Round the roundabout. Final exit into the village. And this village is Weston Wren. So we're in Shropshire now. lot of the Western Rin people are very keen gardeners, and it shows. A lot of the gardens are actually at the back, so you can't see them, but a lot of gardeners, in my opinion, are also great artists because of the way they decorate the garden. And you can see that Western Rin is one of these places that still has a level crossing. And we are going over the crossing. There's no trains at this time in the morning, so we're over the crossing. Sometimes you've got to stop there to allow the trains to pass over. The Plough on the left, one of the village pubs. The village used to have 3 pubs, it's only got 2 now. One of them was closed and then demolished and made way for housing. Passing by the school, and there's the usual parents dropping off their children. In my day, when I was a boy, parents expect you to walk to school. That's no longer the case when more parents have got cars now. So children are taken to school by their parents. Nice to see the snow in the background on the hills. Sometimes I like to stop and take a photograph of that just because I think it looks picturesque. Maybe I'll just have to content myself with this video. Just passed by a house that's got characters sitting in the garden. As I say, people who are gardeners in this village, they're also artists in my view. Their gardens can be very decorative. So I'm going through the village to a miniature roundabout, and I will be taking the exit to the estate. Wong Wong on the left. If you fancy having a Chinese meal, then it's not a problem in this village. They've got their own Chinese takeaway. And by this roundabout, this miniature roundabout, is the village institute. And the local people still call this shop on my right the top shop, because there used to be 3 shops in the village. This was the top one, and they still call it the top shop. It's amazing how some spoken names still stick and get passed down the generations. I'm going up this road, and you can see a spire. That spire is from the Quinta Chapel, where the Quinta Church meets. And I am still officially a member there, and I do recommend them because the gospel is faithfully preached, and the Bible is faithfully expounded at the Quinta Church. We also had, by the roundabout back there, St John's. And St John's is currently being used as a place to meet for tea and coffee and be a warm place. Now we're just approaching the estate. So I turn left into the Quinta Estate. Now some people walk to work. Some people live in the village will walk up here. I can see 2 of them. In Scotland we called these humps sleeping policemen. I don't know if the English call them that. Up there's a Quinta Hall here is a conference centre, and it takes very large groups. So if you're looking for a conference centre, consider Quinta Hall. Sometimes some of the fields here get rented out to a farmer who puts sheep on them. And in October, the fields are filled with campers, the Universities and Colleges Christian Fellowship. That's quite a sight to see as they take up all of the fields and all of the buildings. That building ahead of me is the main building, Quinta Hall. This site is used for Christian work. It's the start of the day, not just for me but also for the cleaners, and here we have the office. And he says, so how will you live out love? That's the question. How will you live out love? And I'm just going to park up here at the back gate.